I love this show. Supernanny, Tantrum, specifically the naughty chair. What's the debate going on with the naughty chair? Is it gentle? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you use it at home? Grab your tea, your coffee, or whatever you got, and let's dive in.
Mum and Dad still have a major problem when it comes to disciplining Zach. So what I'm going to do is bring in the naughty chair technique, go through the steps so they will understand how to do a timeout.
This is good. This is the first time I've seen you guys smile over discipline. We're in a good place.
Oh, we're excited about it.
All right.
Look at these two parents. We have one that's permissive, one that's authoritarian, and then you have Joe Frost come in. Bam, she's going to teach them the naughty chair technique, and it's going to be 3 steps.
Warning.
Zachary, if you spin the chair again, you go to time out in your naughty spot. Do you understand?
And when Zach chose to ignore Mum, it was time to do the second step, and that was to put him onto the naughty chair and explain why he had to sit there.
Listen to Mommy.
You are in timeout because Mommy said don't spin the chair. And you did not listen to me. So now Zachary has to sit in timeout.
Stopwatch.
When Mommy comes back to get you, you may get up.
Step 1 was the warning. Now, some of you might watch this and go, I've told Zachary not to spin the chair so many times. Why do I still need to give him a warning? It is because a child's frontal lobe is not developed until they're in their mid-20s. So although Zachary knows he shouldn't spin the chair, he's been told not to spin the chair, a warning provides that buffer for impulse control. A young child, especially any children who might have ADHD or be on the spectrum, any kind of developmental delays, their impulse control is just not there. You'll even see your child sometimes doing something and they know not to do it, but their body is almost taking over, if you've noticed and observed it from, a bird's eye view. And so by providing a warning, you are giving your child an opportunity to correct their behavior before you intervene. If you use a program like 1-2-3 Magic, which is one that I use, they provide 2 warnings. So you would say, that's 1, we don't spin that chair. If you'd like to spin something, you can spin this over here. And then you pause and you wait. If the child's still spinning the chair, you say, that's 2, I said to stop spinning the chair. If you continue to spin the chair, you will go to timeout. And then on 3, that's when you say that's 3 and you bring them to timeout. Number 2 was the explanation. If it's a situation that is new, it would need an explanation. But if this is a repeat issue, for me personally, I don't provide an explanation. I will put them right in timeout or a consequence, which we'll talk about later if you're interested in logical consequences and not always timeout. But whatever the consequence is, you don't always have to explain it, especially if you know your child knows. Just let the consequence be, and you don't have to talk about it at all.
And true to form, Zach didn't give in without a fight.
I knew the first time out with Zachary would be really hard, and it was.
Time are bad.
This is not funny.
But Mum stuck with it until Zach sat there for his full time. And she did a great job.
Yes, she did do a great job. If you are implementing a new program in your home, your child is going to push those boundaries. Zachary has been able to rule the roost. Is that what the phrase is? Rule the roost? Forever. He runs around. He does what he wants. Earlier in the episode, he wanted to go out with his sister, so he was running outside and his mom was chasing him. You are going to get worse behavior before you get better behavior when you implement any program, because your child is testing the boundaries, and that just means your child's intelligent. It's not a bad thing in isolation. It's just going to take a little bit of time for your child to understand that what you say is what you mean and you follow through.
Later on in the day, Zach pushed Kaya, and it proved to be a good point where Dad could discipline Zach and show that he could curb his temper.
No, listen. Come here.
No. Put the hand, then bring him over to timeout. Okay, just reset the timer because he's already gone back there, okay? Place him back and reset the timer.
Zach really tested Roy's patience, but I had to remind her just to stay calm and composed and place Zach straight on that naughty chair.
I thought that, you know, doing this repeatedly like that, he was making a game out of it. So for me to say, Zach, stop, get over here right now and sit down and put him in his place, to him see that I was getting angry, he picked up on the fact that I wasn't playing. He realized that I wasn't playing.
No, Roy, he realised you weren't playing because he responded to fear.
Okay.
I have so much to say specifically on this discipline out of fear, and I will try my best to condense it. If your goal is simply just to get your kid to listen, you can scream at them, you can hit them, you can throw them in their room, and you know what? They're listening. But does that reach the ultimate goal of raising a small human that is going to go out into the world and have empathy and make decisions that are positive for their community, not because there are law enforcement officers enforcing the law, but because they know that in order to have a harmonious society where we all work together, this is how we behave and this is how we treat each other. Think to yourself when you're in these moments and your child, or you know, if you're a nanny or a babysitter and that child is having trouble, what is my ultimate goal? My ultimate goal is to teach, not to get them to do a behavior, because we want them to be independent one day and we won't be there to hover over them with fear. It's a lot, and it's hard because I don't like to gender stereotype at all, but there are cases where a man who is larger with a booming voice will come in and go, all right, you guys, and yeah, he'll get the kids to quiet down. Okay, and then when he walks away, then the kids don't listen. Is that really what you want? Think about that, you know? Ponder that for a moment. Am I disciplining to create a child who only listens when there's someone enforcing the law? Because they're scared. Oh, so much.
It has been 3 days since I've left this family. They had a lot at stake. I just really hope that I'm going to see improvement.
So let's take a look. Mum's discipline.
That's not nice. This is your warning. Do not hit the balloon again or you go to timeout. Do not pull on the string. If you touch her again, you are going to timeout. The next time you hit somebody, you are going to timeout. And I'm serious.
There were so many warnings and no follow-throughs.
Supernanny at this point explains to the mother that she gave too many warnings. And that is absolutely correct. You have to stay consistent. But one thing that I find that she didn't talk about, and maybe she did, but it's not the edited version we see, is your child has needs. What are those needs, and can you meet them in alternative ways? So if Zachary wants to punch the balloon, think to yourself in that moment, do I need to say no? Or can I let him punch the balloon? Can I let him punch the balloon outside? Can I hook up the balloon to a small chair and then when he punches the balloon, it won't hit the television or whatever it is? Why are you saying no? Because if you're constantly saying no to your child, they are not going to want to listen because mommy always says no or daddy always says no. So at least I'll get in a few punches before I get in trouble and have to go to timeout. Alternatives are something to implement alongside consequences such as the naughty chair, so that you are allowing your child to meet the need that they have with an alternative that's appropriate to you. So if you can say yes, say yes. Don't say no to everything. And if you do say no, stick with it.
Slide, come here. No, we're not going outside. Back in the pool. No, sorry. You can't. Come here. Oh, brave girl. Listen to me. You kicked her in the face when she jumped. You really could have hurt her. Please don't do that again. Or you will go to timeout. That's your last warning. I put you in timeout because I asked you not to hit nobody and you went and hit your sister again.
Now that we've seen all of the steps of the naughty chair, I want to talk about some alternatives. If you are not a fan of the naughty chair, it is probably because you've heard the idea that placing them in a naughty chair or in a timeout is more of a punishment rather than a consequence. What in the world does that mean? Punishment is meant to make the child feel bad, while a consequence is meant to teach. So if you are implementing the timeout or the naughty chair more like condescending, you need to sit here because you're in trouble and you're a bad boy, then yes, that is a punishment. Excuse me. But if you are using more of a consequence, as in you are going to sit here because you hit your sister and that is not safe, that would be more of a consequence. So in my mind, the naughty chair debate is really just how you implement it, how you talk to your child. Even when you give them a warning, are you threatening them by saying, I said stop it, if you don't stop it, then blah, blah, blah. That's not gentle. If you don't even want to use timeout or the naughty chair at all, then you need to implement some kind of consequence. What we have is called logical consequences. Logical consequences mean that whatever your consequence is matches the behavior. So let's say Zachary was punching the balloon, which we watched him punch the balloon. We can say, Zachary, we don't punch balloons. You are more than welcome to hold the balloon and walk around the house, but do not punch the balloon because something might break in our house. Then Zachary punches the balloon again. And you say, that's 2. If you cannot use the balloon correctly, I will take away the balloon. Then Zachary punches the balloon and you say, that's 3. And then you just simply take away the balloon. Instead of having to put them in timeout or the naughty chair, you can use logical consequences. So there's no shame involved. I think the biggest problem with the naughty chair is a lot of people connect it with shame because of how it's implemented. We don't talk down to our children. Sometimes when my child is getting a consequence, I even give them, if they want it, a hug, and I go, this is hard. You really wanted to play with that balloon and you were having so much fun with it, and unfortunately you didn't play with it the way that we play with balloons inside. And then remind them of, the fact that you care about them and you want them to learn how to use things. Like, I want you to have fun. I wish I could let you punch every balloon in this house, but we have to keep the things in our house safe. We don't have to be mean to our children to get them to listen. Once they're on our sides, they listen because they care.
And I hope they realise where they can go together if they just work together.
I had so much fun going through this with you. If you have a specific episode that you'd like me to react to, please drop it in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Bye.